Welcome back, Power Sisters. Welcome to the gathering. It's our 11 o'clock, and I hope you had a few moments. Let me tell you, that 15 minutes helps so much. But I hope you had a chance to go, go get something, go get something to eat, take a few minutes to just do some deep breathing. And I really want to encourage you to do that even now, that you would find a space to just absorb and let your heart and your soul and your spirit reconnect to the conversation that we just had. I thought it was so rich and so powerful for such a time as this for us as women come together and hear each other's voices. And now, today, for the rest of the day, we're going to start to go a little bit deeper as I have the honor of introducing you to each and every one of our Power Success coaches, as well as Power Circle leaders, and giving you an opportunity to hear their heart, giving you an opportunity to hear why they do what they do, the journey that they've been on to get here, and also giving you an opportunity to hear about their own power circle within the place. I will share more about the place a little bit later on. Definitely tomorrow we'll go into more depth so you can see what we've created for you so that you can have your own place. Like, imagine a place that's dedicated to you, all of who you are. You're good, you're bad, you're ugly. All of who you are, in allowing yourself to be seen, heard, valued, and celebrated at the highest level possible, that your life will be transformed. It will be worth your time, your energy, and your experience and your investment. So joining me today, I have the honor of introducing you to, again, like I said earlier on, one of my executive team members, meaning these are the women who know me personally. These are the women who have been with me really from conception, if you will, or inception, and then conception, and then now the birthing, or the, what do you call it? Since I've never had a child, that birthing process, and then now the laboring process, I guess, or the delivery process is, I'm on the other side of it now. It's actually been birthed, and having women who unapologetically love you, unconditionally love you, and Tina has been one of those individuals who regularly will send me a message behind the scenes and said, I'm thinking of you, I'm praying for you. If you ever need any support, let me know. And I have to admit, all of the ladies do that, but she's been one of the most aggressive in really taking time out of her busy day. Remember, Tina is in New Zealand, so she's in tomorrow, or yesterday, not tomorrow. She's in the future. She's in tomorrow. So she's way out there in front of us, and spending time early in the morning to be here, to be with you, to pour into your life. And I know you're going to love her as much as I do. I know you're going to fall in love with her accent first and foremost. I just love listening to her talk. It's so soothing. And then the wisdom that comes from her, and her sense of humor, and just the love that she has, and the journey that she's been on. She's got this golden light. Oh, she's trying to move
I
from the
know.
and I'm like, just let it be, girl.
That's the future for you. Your sun is
Right?
setting, rising, and I'm getting illuminated.
She's like, you just got this glow all over you right now. Let it be, let it be. I can see it. And we've been on so many summits and experiences that these kind of things just happen, and we just go with the flow, because it's just a part of being beautiful women who are saying, this is what's real. And because this is real, this is for such a time as this, is our opportunity to just be here. So, below in our group, you'll see there's a whole post about Tina and her profile. So that way you get a chance to, or her bio. So you get a chance to know her. You get to hear her quote and what her heart is. And right now we're just going to have a conversation so that you can really hear what's on her mind. So I want to share with you what Tina's group is, and I'm going to read her description to you so that way you hear her heart, what she's birthing forward, and then we're going to get into the conversation. So Tina, welcome again to being a part of this conversation with me.
Thank you so much. And I'm excited to be here because Women's Circle is something that is very dear to my heart, like I touched on earlier. So the place is really the place to be, no pun intended, but it is a place for you to find yourself again. And I think this is a quest that we all are on. So I I want to say thank you for following your intuition to be part of this first and foremost, because sometimes we want to have it all figured out. And I used to be like this for years, but then there's a little niggle inside where you see something, you go, oh, hang on a minute. I think I might need to be here and go there. It's
Yeah.
like that rabbit hole that Alice falls into. And once you go down, you go, ooh, look at all these things.
Yeah, this will be a rabbit hole of good
I
and not
know. And
confusion and
this is the
craziness.
exciting part. It's having the courage to follow that intuition, because I can tell you from my own experience that when you completely forget who you are and you just function in a world that you created yourself, it comes with not just I think it's to some degree shame and fear, because you created it yourself. And I used to be somebody that said, you know what, you've created this. Now you have to deal with you. You make your bed, you lie in it. That is not true, because if you're actually feeling in your body that something doesn't serve you, you want to go different routes, but you think it's impossible for you to possibly live a different life. If I would have told my former executive self 10 years ago that this is the life I now have, with joy, with time to myself, with stillness, I would have said, no way.
Yeah.
Because I knew this was a thing for me, because women who seem to have these frolicky, flowy lives with no worries, they triggered me. And I didn't want to look at it. So I'm excited to be here.
I appreciate, we're already starting into the conversation. I appreciate what you're sharing, because myself as well, different level of executiveness, if you will, but definitely more so in my masculine than I was in my feminine. And even though I, looked feminine, because I love dresses and I love, my hair being done, my nails being done, all that kind of fun stuff, but still the energy and the frequency of who I was very hard and constantly pushing and running up the rat race. And I had to, I think my culture, my belief system, my environment kind of convinced me that that was the only way to live. And then, you get into, and then, God is so strategic from my perspective that sometimes God, source, spirit, the universe, whatever word works for you, I'm going to say God from this point forward. God for me allowed me to go on a journey that turned my world upside down so that I can rediscover that there is another way of being. And it doesn't have to be the way everyone else has told me to be. I can be who I need to be. I can do what I need to do. I can live the way I need to live that works best in alignment for my personality type, my energy type, my frequency type, my type, whatever that is. And I know that this is what the place is about, is saying we don't want you to become anything other than who you're supposed to be. And if we can give you a blueprint, if we can give you opportunities to help you make decisions to show up much more dynamically in your personal life and in your business, if we can give you opportunities, you're going to get that from me a lot. I tend to give a lot of opportunities to help you take your life and your business to a whole nother level. That doesn't necessarily require you having to be coached. It's like, hey, I have this opportunity. It was given to me. I worked it out so I can give it to you. Here it is. If you want it, great. If you don't, that's fine too. And I'm on a goal like you, Tina, to really help women come back home to themselves at a much deeper, richer, higher level. And then from there, really stepping into abundance and feminine financial mastery. You'll have an opportunity to meet with Deanna Deerham later on tomorrow. She's going to be talking about finances from a practical sense. I'll be talking about it from a spiritual, psychological, neurological sense. But this can't happen unless you're in community. Really, if you really understand community, you were born in community. Let's just really break this down. You were born to a mother and a father. Whether they were in the home at the time, you were still born in and developed out of community, out of relationship. And it's in community and relationship that you formed the beliefs that you have, the values that you have, the standards that you have, that you have were all formed out of some sort of relationship and community around you. And if you had the wrong type, because they had a wrong type of community, because they have the wrong kind of information, you now have an opportunity to be surrounded by the right types of people in the right community to help you have the right kinds of thoughts and feelings. And so Tina's circle specifically is called the Sisterhood Circle. You'll hear more about that again in the near future. Embrace, Connect, Transform, where being a woman takes center stage beyond every role. where one of the other ladies who's not, it wasn't able to be a part of our summit right now as a part of the executive team says, we got to go back to the basics. It's time to go back to the basics, go back to the garden, go back to the beginning, and kind of start all over, and start all over from our truth rather than someone else's truth. So if we were to read the description, it's at the Sisterhood Circle, we believe in the transformative power of women united in a sisterhood and gathering in circle. When we step into a circle, we remember. I wanted to make sure I brought that forward because I thought, what a powerful statement. It's a little statement. When we step into circle, we remember. So I want to start there. What do we remember when we're in circle together? What's that about?
I would liken it to a cellular thing that we've done many, many centuries ago, because as women, we used together, we used to be a community, and a lot of people sometimes refer to it takes a village to raise children. And we used to be in that. And I think in our modern world, and even with social media and the recent way, we think we're connected, but we're actually just living into a perpetual state of comparison. It fries our nervous system. And I mean, I see it in young people, and I always joke to my son now, who's 13, so I could do all the funny stuff before anyone could capture it and put it on social media. It is a completely different landscape. And the reason I call it the sisterhood circle, because the circle is not a place, it's not a seminar, it's not a class. It's a teaching and learning, but it is on a cellular, on a bodily level. It's when we feel, it's when we drop from here into your body. And this is where the remembering takes part, where you go, oh, this feels really good, like that warm, fuzzy feeling you get. You definitely do not get it in the current corporate environment. Anyone who is in tune with what's going on in HR, there's mass redundancies, there's more pressure, financials, and we get started on what's going on in the world.
Especially right now. Yeah.
Exactly. And sisterhood is different from friendship. While sisterhood can turn into friendship, sisterhood is a collective energy. And this is where we have the most power, because and if you join my circle, I'll go into that a lot deeper, because I keep talking about the sister wounding, and it's this mean girl mentality. I mean, I had no voice when I was a teenage girl. I was too much, too big, too loud, too everything. So I spent
you speak my language, girl.
I know 3 decades of my life denying who I was at the core. And it is not a pleasant place to be, because all you do is you try and be someone else. And then you're trying to prove yourself. And for me, being brought up in Germany, there's an efficiency, a sacrificing, working hard mentality, which I think is a genetic disposition. And even though I moved to New Zealand, it's still there, and it was for a long time. I had to consciously make the decision to be in a space where I could stop pretending. It scared me. But where the fear is normally where the growth is, and where the break open happens.
Ooh,
and
let's wait. Stop. See, this is where I get to stop people, because I'm like, it's in the fear is where the growth is. And we as women tend to not allow ourselves, especially those of us who are service-based, we're coaches, we're speakers, we're leaders, we're constantly taking everybody else. Sometimes we don't give ourselves the space to deal with our own issues, unless we get hit in the face with something dramatic, and then we have to. But there's been so much fear on the planet. And then there's our own fear just within our own lives, whether we're aware of it or not. The reason why that hit me so hard, I would never associate myself as being a fearful woman, ever. Like this, I was raised by a very powerful, strong Black woman. So fear wasn't a language that I heard, whether it's a word or if it was in behavior or thoughts or energy. It just was not something that was real. And then God lovingly allowed me to go through my own journey. And that's when I really had to take responsibility for my defense mechanisms that I had in place were responding to the fear I had. because at the core, my fear was related to me being too much, being too big. Kind of like what Marianne Williamson said in her book. Oh my gosh, what's the name of that book? Uh, Return to Love, A Return to Love. Thank you. And in that book, she said, that poem she wrote, Our Deepest Fear. And it's not about someone seeing us, but just being too powerful. And that fear of being too much because we're so afraid of what other people are going to say. And it's interesting, most of the time when we're afraid of what others are going to say, we're afraid of what women are going to say about us.
Exactly.
Isn't that the strangest thing?
I
Because
know.
we don't hear that really or see that or even experience that from men. Men do crazy stuff for sure, but they don't tell us that we can't be too much. Some do. There are a few out there who do. But 9 times out of 10, we're just afraid of what mom's going to say, what grandma is going to say, and what other women or friends or sisters are going to say if we really showed up powerfully. I'm like, where did that come from? So we've got to heal this feminine injured wound, or this sister wound, the sisterhood wound that you're talking about. Can I finish your description?
Yeah.
Because it's just, there's certain things that you said that I'm just like, that we need to remember what it's like to be in community with other women. We need to feel the bond, the excitement, the surge, the laughter, the joy, the healing that comes from being like what we have in the executive team. Tina earlier mentioned that we, for 2 years straight, we met every single week, religiously. And we laughed until we cried. We processed through our own personal journeys and issues. We were vulnerable. We were anxious. We had hot moments in there, and we worked through those things together. And that's what made us see, well, it was because we were intentional about coming together that this healed all of us. And what would happen if more women had this kind of experience, rather than it just being part of a network, part of a coaching program? It's just a way of being and having a life. So all of these circles that we're launching are designed to help you have that kind of space and place. So let me continue. So I'm going to say that line again because I just thought it was good. When you step into circle, we remember. We become all equals and can surrender to a space where we are heard, seen, held, and can allow ourselves to be witnessed vulnerably. When was the last time you as a woman allowed yourself to be witnessed vulnerably? What does that mean?
It's a great question, and one that I dreaded, because I always had this view that once I show weakness, then it puts me in a position of being, either if it's at work, it was, or someone will take my job. If I share too much information, someone will steal my idea. So there is this, and I'm pretty sure anyone in this current work environment who holds a position of power, of senior executive, will feel this deeply, because it's, when we are witnessed vulnerably, it means like I cried at work in a cubicle and I was hiding myself. And then the minute you walk out, you would not let anyone see that you actually cried. For me, that was not an acceptable emotion. Tears, no. The other thing is, when I get really frustrated and angry, I get teary, and it's like, oh, do not let those tears come up, stay down.
Yeah.
And I had to understand why that was even a thing for me. And being vulnerable means like being seen by other women in particular. And when I talk about sister wounding, it's the mean girl mentality that I'm sure all have at some stage experienced it. It's whether it's bullying in the extreme form, but you just have to go to your gym changing room and you see when women walk out of the shower. There's always that one that just prances around with a towel and let it all, like, no, it just completely oblivious to what's going on around her. And then there is the one who changes her entire clothes in and out of her yoga outfit wrapped in a towel, and it takes half an hour. But it's those
I used to be
dynamics.
that woman. That was me. I'm like, it's so true because of my own shame of I can't have anyone. And I know, I recognize I grew up in a family, obviously as an African American woman, as a Black woman. There are other little layers of hiding because you don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah.
If someone sees you, you could get hurt. So this mentality, most people don't even realize it passes through generation to generation until someone says, I got to change it. Otherwise, it still plays out to this very day. It still
Yeah.
plays out in how our world receives and sees Black people or not, or all. I won't go into all that kind of stuff. There's a whole nother conversation for another time. But the reason why I wanted that statement to be witnessed vulnerably to come forward is because I don't think women have a place. Most of them that I talk to, and I've talked to thousands of women through being a psychologist and a therapist and a coach, who do not. I have a very amazing client I've been working with for a while, where she's taking a break right now. We're going to restart in January. And she actually made me cry. And she said, I don't have a place where I could talk to women. I don't have I don't have that many close people to me. And I just was kind of like dumbfounded, kind of like, what? I don't understand that. That doesn't make sense. And I think if I had met her earlier on, I probably would have said, I feel the same way. But because of my experience with the executive team, because we are women first before we are in our executive team, I have a different experience with them, and that has been powerful beyond measure. I think she's frozen. Yeah, so Tina froze for just a second on our side, so hopefully it'll clear. I don't know if it's on my side or if it's on her side. There it is. There she is. She's popped back. We had a freeze for just a quick second, but that's okay.
That's okay. Power companies are doing things, so
Yeah, God bless. But see,
I love it.
there's so much power that you and I are putting out. The system is going all crazy. Who cares? Yeah, I'm not worried about it at this point. But if you can hear our hearts, we want you to hear that the place is your place to be witnessed vulnerably. The place is your place. And again, you'll hear more about the place soon, but it's your place to let down your shoulders. Because I think women walk around like this. They're tense, they're tight, they're tired, they're overwhelmed all the time and don't even know it, because it's now become the norm. And that's not normal. That's not exactly what God intended for you. It's not. It took me having to lose everything to realize that how I'd been living was not normal. Was not that it was horrible, but it was horrible. And you'll hear more about my story, because I know it's time to bring that forward. And I love the witnessing vulnerably, to have someone again really see you and hear not only your voice, not only your story, but hear the journey that you've been on. So we only have a few more minutes, because I actually want you to have time to connect to Tina. I want you to meet her and actually hear a little bit more about her own heart. So Tina, tell us a little bit why you're doing this circle, the Sisterhood Circle, and what's the number one tip you want to give to help a woman know that in Circle, your life will be transformed?
I would like you first and foremost to pack away any expectations, what a circle may be,
That's
because
good.
it is circular, everyone is equal, and there is something, allow the magic to happen. And it is a spiritual practice, but it's God's spirit source universe. It has absolutely nothing to do with what your belief system may or may not be. This is why we come as women, as who we are in this world, and who we're longing to be on the inside. And Dr. Anita touched on that beautifully, that when we are witnessed, we don't have that connection with others. I had a lot of male friends because I felt like they were less catty.
Yeah.
I had a huge trust issue with other women because of what happened with friends I had at school and just the way I was brought up. And it took me a long, long time to actually feel like, wow, I used to have issues with my confidence, body image, being too much, too loud. And then I moved to New Zealand, the accent for a long time. I would have never talked live like this, because you hear my voice and you go, ooh, but that's just me. But I had to own all of this. I had to reclaim and go, it's part of me. So I want you to feel the same. You come with no expectation. You hang them at the door. You hang your title up, your mother, your sister, your lover, whatever label. You come as a woman,
Yeah.
and you come in
Strip.
stillness and See what happens. Allow yourself to flow. And if you just are there for an hour listening while other women share, there is no pressure, there is no expectation, there is no judgment, and you will feel the safety wash over you. And this is where I had to step into my purpose of not having a place like that, to leading spaces. That takes courage too, but I have to come in as all of myself, walking my talk, like they say.
Yeah.
I have to share from the heart, and I go into what happened in my childhood, what happens in my private life, what I've gone through as a woman, from burnout, anxiety, depression, adrenal fatigue, not good enoughness, miscarriages, fertility. There is no topic that is not welcome in the circle, because this is the true stuff. It is not recorded. It is held safely. There is expectations. And if you join my group, you see what happens in a circle, some of the parameters to make sure you feel safe. And as a psychologist, Dr. Anita will confirm that for a woman to really trust and surrender and feel safe in her body, she needs a safe place, somewhere where you can express yourself
Yes.
without worrying. And this
Yes.
is, if you look back in history, it was not safe for us to stand up,
Yes.
to stand out. We were either singled out from the tribe, if you go way, way back, or we were burned at the stake. We were outcast from the village, because it wasn't safe to express all of that we feel. So
and if you were a woman of color, you were immediately devalued for the color of your skin, whether you were Black or Asian or anything else. You were just devalued, so you had nothing. So now I didn't mean to cut her off, but I need you to hear, Tina needs you to hear, all of our power sisters need you to hear, that if there's ever a time in our history for you to come together, to gather together, so that you can release the stigma of what the world has defined you to be, or maybe stigma is not the right word, but the criteria, the qualifications, the expectations, the judgments, the criticisms, the past histories of the preconceived notions, thoughts, and ideas of who you should have been because it makes someone else happy, rather than who God created you to be. The place is the place to do it. And ultimately, what is the place? It's a community. It's a membership community designed to help women rediscover a new way of being all of who they're supposed to be, and being held accountable. So this is not something that's just easy. I mean, it's fun. There's a lot of great stuff that's going to be there, but it's also going to be a place where you're going to be held accountable to be your best version of yourself. We only want you to be your best version. And sometimes growing pains hurt. Sometimes things, when you're transforming, when you're in a safe place, in a cocoon, it gives you the space to go through the breakdown and then reset yourself, come back alive, transform, and become the glorious, go through your Phoenix rising process. I like that phrase a lot. And we wanted to give you the space to be able to do that. So anything else that's on your heart, Tina, that you want to say in regards to women, or the circle that you're leading, or the place that you feel every woman needs to hear? Because I want to give them an opportunity to connect to you in your meet and greet right after our session today.
All I want to say is welcome. Don't be afraid. We're done with being afraid and in fear. Yeah. Just allow yourself to experience what we are here to bring, and be open. And any questions, there is no question you cannot answer. This is why I'm here for the next 15 minutes, and also in the group when you join. I'm there every day, in one shape or the other, sometimes a bit earlier because I'm in the future.
Right.
But leave away whatever your perception is, and just be.
Yeah. So those of you who are like me and like, okay, what's this place thing about, and how do I get to it? You're an early bird person. You want to just jump right in. You can actually go to our website and take a look around and kind of get a feel for who we are right now. It's called powerherplace.com. If someone has invited you, wait until you get a chance to talk to that person. If one of our power sisters here said, hey, I want you to be a part of this community that I'm a part of. I've joined, I've stepped in, I'm a member, and I want you to be a member with me, reach back out. So if Tina invited you to be a part of the summit, reach back out to Tina so that she can kind of talk to you about it. But right now, below, there should be a link that just got launched so that you can actually have a meet and greet with Tina. She'll be there for about 10 minutes or so, and you get a chance to just talk to her. She'll talk to you, you talk to her, and just get a chance to know her a little bit more. And you'll have that opportunity with all of our speakers today as we, outside of myself, because I'll be doing a training at 3 o'clock on living in overflow, just to get you ready for the next level of success for your life. Tina, with that being said, I have to again say to you, I so love you and I thank God for you so much because you are such a light, such a woman of love, and you have been a blessing to me. You've been a blessing to the Alliance. You've been a blessing to the executive team. And I know without a shadow of a doubt in my mind, every woman who's going to be a part of your circle is going to heal and be transformed very, very powerfully. Thank you, my love, for being a part of the circle, being part of the place, being a part of my life. Love you.
Thank you so much. And I love that connection that we have. And as a group, we've been really forging that path for ourselves on what that feels like. And like you said, it is ups and downs. It's crying, laughing, wailing, all of the things, but it is so deeply nourishing. So the place has a cup with different things and you can fill all of them when you're there. It's a holistic smorgasbord of love, of support, of wisdom, of sharing. So I can't wait to see you there.
I'm going to add on to this because I want to make sure that I bring this forward in almost every conversation. The place is really your place to receive. If you have struggle receiving, whether it's compliments, whether it's money, whether it's success, whether it's joy, whether it's happiness, whether it's pleasure, this is going to be your place to master that because the community is all about receiving at the core. You can go give in your own business, in your own life. You can go do whatever you want to do. But we want to teach you how to make yourself a priority by putting yourself first on the list and saying, ooh, I need to go receive my daily dose of inspiration, encouragement, sisterhood, authenticity, love, so that I can fill myself up with the good stuff, the powerful stuff, the right stuff, and then go give from my overflow rather than give from my emptiness, from my burnout, from my frustration or irritation that I may not even know exists because I've gotten so comfortable with it. So join Tina, the links below. Tina, have a great session. And then we're going to take a lunch break at 12 o'clock. You'll see a post pop up that it's lunch from 12 until about 12:50. And then I'll be back in here at 1 o'clock to introduce you to our next speaker, Bevna Siravastiva. I hopefully said that right. If I didn't, I know she'll correct me. You're going to enjoy that conversation just as well. And we're so honored and humbled that you're here, everybody. Have a great session. Tina, take care of you. Bye, everybody.
Thank
See you
you.
soon. Much love.